call this special meeting of Town Council to order December 19th, 2024. First order of business is disclosure of pecuniary interest and the general nature thereof. It can be declared now or any time during the meeting. Seeing none, we'll move to number 3 on the docket, Administration and Employee Relations, a declaration of council vacancy and the selection options. And I will turn it over to Clerk Bates for some clarification.
Thank you, Mayor Ferguson. On December 9th, I received a resignation notice from Councillor Christy Lynn McQuay. Council must now declare the seat vacant, which I have a resolution ready and pass at this meeting. They'll also have to make a decision on how you want to fill the vacancy. So I have listed 4 options, and I think we need to have a little bit of a discussion, so let's open it up.
Sure. I'll open it to the floor for any questions or comments. Councillor Johnson.
If we go, I can't remember the number exactly. If we go to a vote, what's that going to cost us? I forget the number. I read it in the emails because I read my emails. If we go to an election for the next person, what will that cost us?
If we do a by-election, it'll cost about $28,000.
$28,000?
Yep, it would just be just like a regular election. It'd be the same kind of process. So it'd be a little expensive, and we do not have the budget for that either.
No.
Yes, Councillor Stimson.
Thank you, Mayor Ferguson. I don't know, I think we kind of, in my opinion, we've set a bit of a precedent by moving the next person up. I could not see doing anything other than that after I was I was offered the seat just because of that. I think myself, I think we have to stick with moving up the next in line. Just my opinion, though. Thank you.
Councillor Shine.
Thank you, Mayor Ferguson. Sue, have we ever done option number 2 or 3 even prior to when we've been on council? Has that ever occurred? It's always been the next in line?
Yes, as far as I know.
Okay, thank you.
I've never done anything other than that.
Yes, Jason.
Just an important note, you are making the assumption the next in line would accept it, right? And that's, and we don't know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Councillor Knowles.
Thank you, Mayor Ferguson. My preference actually is to go to an appointment by open call. My reasoning for that would be that we are closer to the next election and we're removed from the previous election. And there is really nothing stopping the existing candidates from submitting their names. So that way we would have an idea if they were still interested in the position. That would give us a chance to see what the appetite is. The appetite for serving in municipal politics has probably changed a bit in the last couple of years as well. And I would assume that if there is an open call, that it would be vetted by this council, and a scoring matrix and things of that nature would be applied so that it was a fair and transparent process. So that's my opinion. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you, Councillor. Clerk Bates, what would be the process if we did go to option 2 or option 3?
So if you decide to do option 2, we would post a public notice tomorrow. Council only has 60 days once they declare the seat vacant to appoint a new member. What we would do is kind of have a little bit of an idea. We would have the process open until January 17th. So it would be a qualification form. They would have to sign their notice. They would submit like a resume kind of thing. Then we would have a special meeting of council where council would ask questions. It would just be like an interview. So we don't have everything kind of locked down because this is just new to us and we didn't want to spend too much work just in case you didn't decide to go with this. So it's just kind of in the process, but we just watched, Fort Francis had just gone through it on Tuesday, so we watched it and it was a pretty good, fair, transparent process.
Any other comments from council?
Yeah, I got one for.
I'll just give everybody their chance first. Councillor Martin.
Okay, thank you, Mayor Ferguson. Initially, I was thinking along the lines of Councillor Stimson. You know, we know who's next in line, obviously. To save, you know, $24,000 is not budgeted. Would a phone call to the next person in line hurt to see if they're still interested? And then if not, then we go, I see hands going up over there, so I'm guessing that probably can't happen, but, oh, sorry, okay. So that's my thought. I like Gordon Knoll's idea, that's great, but maybe we could save the town some money if we just went to the next person in line, if they are indeed interested. Thank you.
In response to that, Councillor Martin, the appointment by open call will not cost money.
Oh,
It will only be a minimal cost. It'll just be advertisement cost in the progress kind of thing.
oh, okay, sorry, I was,
So the only thing that would cost would be a by-election,
oh,
and that would be
gotcha.
totally different.
Okay, fair enough. Okay.
Yes, Councillor Stimson.
Thank you, Mayor Ferguson. I don't know, I just wonder why this, I haven't been on the council, brought into council that long. I just wonder why the idea of putting it out to the public wasn't brought up then. It wasn't that long ago, and now all of a sudden, I just think, you know, this person had the interest to run, and there's a good chance would probably run again. So that's exactly what we'd be doing. We'd be putting somebody in council who was interested in it, and that's the same thing you're going to do as if you put it in the paper. If I was next in line and you put it in the paper, I would really be burnt. I would be thinking, hey, you know, what's wrong? You know, Stimson got brought in, and why am I not? And I just think you could be opening yourself up for a little bit of, I don't know, not legal problems, but quite a bit of backlash.
Councillor Shant.
Thank you, Mayor Ferguson. So how quickly, 60 days, I understand the 60 days. So say the next person that's in line says no, then would you automatically go to the last one?
You would have to.
And then if they both decline, then we have to come back and make a decision in regards to number 2, 3, or 4. Okay, thank you.
Yes, Leah.
Thank you, Mayor Ferguson. Just in response to Councillor Stimson's comment, one of the big reasons that we've been looking at the open call for appointment process is the amount of votes that the 7th, 8th, and 9th place councillors in the last election got. So what you're referring to, Councillor Stimson, so between you and Councillor McQuay, who had the 6th amount of votes, there was 70 votes difference. Between yourself and the person who came in 8th, there's 209. Okay. And then between 8th and 7th, yeah. Oh, between 8th and 9th, there's 133. But the point is that there's such a large difference in votes between the person who came in 7th, yourself, and the person who came in 8th, that it's our opinion that we would be more comfortable asking the next person in line when they did receive a larger portion of votes than someone who didn't receive that many. I'd also like to add, too, that when we're talking about the council appointment process, we did watch Fort Francis's council meeting, but I've also been in regular contact with their interim clerk. She's very satisfied with the process. She feels it went really well. And they got different candidates than they did in the last election. So I talked to her on Tuesday, and she was quite happy with how things went. So just so council's aware, Fort Francis did do it. We're in contact with them, and they are quite satisfied with how it went.
Anybody else have any input on this? Yes, Councillor Johnson.
Thank you, Mayor Ferguson. I agree with Councillor Knowles' approach.
Yes, Councillor Martin?
Thank you, Mayor Ferguson. Yeah, I agreed with Councillor Knowles now after listening to the discussions. I would go with that idea, and then obviously the next person in line, if they are still interested, they could apply, correct? Yep. Okay, thank you.
Anybody else? Yes?
Okay, so I just want clarification that you guys are gonna go with option 2, appointment by open call?
If we have a vote, I'd like a recorded vote, please.
Yep, definitely.
Okay,
Just as a point of order, as we are one councillor short, normally I am the tiebreaker. So I will abstain until the end, and depending on how I voted, it would either pass, or if it was a tie, then from what I understand, the motion would be defeated, and we would come back at the next council meeting to revisit this. Is that correct, clerk?
yeah, we'll just do a vote and we'll see what
We'll
happens.
do a vote? Okay, and I will abstain until the end. Okay?
And also, too, we're going to develop a policy for this in case it happens again, because it'll be easier. We see that it's happening not quite a bit, but it's happening all over, that different municipalities are losing counselors, so. And it's your decision, so we're not trying to force you to do anything. This is just our recommendation.
Okay, as Councillor Stimson requested a recorded vote.
We're gonna declare the seat vacant first.
Oh, we will first have a resolution to declare the seat vacant. A move by Councillor Knowles, seconded by Councillor Shine. Resolve that the Council of the Town of Atikokan, as required by subsection 262, Part 1 of the Municipal Act of 2001, as amended, declares the office of one councillor seat to be vacant. In favor? So that's carried. Okay, and then be it resolved that the Town Council of the Town of Atikokan directs staff to proceed with option 2 to fill a vacancy for council seat. And we'll have a recorded vote. Oh, can I have a mover and a seconder for the vote? Moved by Councillor Shine. Seconded by Councillor Johnson. And we will proceed in alphabetical order. And first, okay, I'll read the resolution again. Resolve that the Town Council of Atikokan directs staff to proceed with option 2 to fill the vacancy. Option 2 is call for expressions of interest advertised in the local paper, and will be interested people will be given to us in January. Is that correct? Okay. Are you in favor of option 2? Yea or nay, Councillor Johnson? Okay. Councillor Knowles?
Yay.
Councillor Martin?
Yay.
Councillor Shine?
Yes.
Councillor Stimson?
No.
Okay, by a vote of 4-1, the resolution passes. Oh, yes,
Thank you, Mayor Ferguson. Just so council and the public know, we will be posting this on our Facebook page, on our website, applications. People can pick up, they can email, but they have to file in person. So the notice will go out if anyone has any questions to contact the clerk's office. Thank you.
thank you. Thanks, everybody. Next up is finance and insurance renewal. I will turn it over to Treasurer Colson to discuss.
Okay, so if you recall, we went to market and we got the bigger players. Between the two of them, they hold about 80% of the market for municipalities. There wasn't any major differences between the two. You know, there was some coverage not covered in one, but already included in the other and that sort of thing. So I think overall, they were probably basically the same. One big difference being flood coverage. So we are recommending to stay with Marsh, and it results in 14%, 14.9% savings from last year. Usually when you go to market, you get a reduction in your price.
Any questions? Oh, Jason?
Just as an addition, important note was, we also received, I think it was 11% decrease in cyber, which was built into the quote, I think. Cyber did go down as well, in the
Which
recommended
is
one.
odd, because
Yeah.
cyber has been going higher and higher every year.
Yeah,
Is that for the same amount of coverage for cybersecurity?
yeah, no change. I don't think there was a change in coverage, no.
No.
Same. So we were happy to see that.
Okay, is there any questions or comments? Yes, Councilor Martin.
Thank you, Mayor Ferguson. Brandy, when you said we go to market, so you got two or three bids from 3 different companies, or did you just deal directly with Westland?
Westland got the quotes on our behalf from the 2 companies. There's only 4 companies in that sell municipal insurance.
Well, according to the policy of purchasing, which is a little outdated, by the way, at 2005, you're supposed to go for minimum 3 bids for over $15,000. So, I mean, it's, to me, dealing with one company would be like maybe going to Tramon and say, get us 3 bids for bridges, and, I don't understand that purchasing policy for the insurance when there are other insurance providers out there. I get dealing local. That's actually mentioned in the purchasing agreement, although it doesn't specify any compensation for dealing locally. But anyways, I just don't understand why we're not going for 3 bids. If it was, if you're buying a piece of equipment, you wouldn't just go to John Deere and say, find us 3 prices for similar equipment. So I just want to make people aware of how I feel about this. And I've been talking about this since I became a counselor, and we seem to just be going to one company. It doesn't hurt to get a second set of eyes to look at our policies. So that's my feeling, and that's my comment on that issue. Thank you.
Jason?
Councilor Martin, just for clarification, you keep saying one company. So we did get a quote from 2 different companies, right? There's 4 in the marketplace, and we did receive quotes from 2. So I'm not sure why you are referencing.
Well, I don't know. I think, you're dealing with one company here basically through Westland, and I don't have a problem with that. But according to your bidding guidelines, you're contravening the purchasing agreement.
You have have to look under the negotiation clause, because there are only limited, there's only 4 companies that sell insurance for municipalities. So insurance for benefits and for, are not under your normal tendering process where you, but if we do want to change the so this is the normal practice, then we would need a resolution to change the practice moving forward.
Well, can I speak still?
Yeah, one more.
Thank you, Brandy. Well, I've talked to other companies that want to bid on this, and they don't have a chance to bid, so that's my thoughts.
Thank you. Councilor Shine.
Is Councillor, thank you, Mayor Ferguson. Is Councillor Martin referring that there's only one broker and we should be looking at having 3 brokers going out and seeing what they can provide? That's kind of the impression I'm picking up, is we're dealing with the broker of Westland, where are the other 2 brokers and where are their quotes? Who do they find?
Well, should I respond? Does everybody here have their insurance, like with your personal insurance, or everybody just deal with one insurance company, or do you shop for insurance personally? That's, I know it's a big difference here, but to me, it's the same thing.
Maybe I can clarify. I used to work kind of in the insurance business, and you don't buy insurance from a broker. The broker acts in your best interest to go to insurance companies. We're not buying insurance from Westland. Westland is the broker, and they're the company that we rely on to get us the best quotes. And what council directed administration to do was talk with our broker to talk to different insurance companies for their best price, and kind of follow up with what Councilor Shine said. We don't have relationships with other brokers, so these are the 2 companies. An insurance broker doesn't deal with every insurance company. They have the people that they deal with. So from what I understand is our broker went out to the 2 companies that they deal with and got quotes on our policy. As our broker, they're acting in our best interest to get us the best price. So they did that. If we want to do something different, then we would have to go to, I guess, different brokers and I don't know how that works, to have a competitive bid from the broker. Is that correct?
Yes. Brokers are independent of the insurance companies, so they work for us in the sense that they try to get us the best price. They're not working for the insurance companies.
Okay. Councilor Shine.
Thank you, Mayor Ferguson. So with the policy maybe needs to be updated, which obviously it probably does, would we then have to go out to an RFP to see if we can get a different broker that would maybe perhaps find us a better rate? I'm not saying there's anything with Westland, but is that the process we'd have to follow?
Yeah, so there's only 4 insurance companies that insure municipalities, so we would have to find a broker that used the other 2 companies. And the other 2 companies are smaller and don't cover as much of the market.
And would it be an extreme expense to go out to an RFP to find other brokers?
I wouldn't recommend changing brokers at this time.
Okay.
Jason.
So I think it's important to understand as well in Brandy's report that we did receive a 53% discount in the brokerage fees. The fees are not relevant. When you look at the size of the policies that we carry in the premiums, the brokerage fees are immaterial, and they don't even meet those thresholds for going out for that. the amount of work, even just to, the amount of work for administration, even to get a quote on us from a second insurance company was big. To spend the time to, as Brandy had mentioned, the other two insurance companies that deal with municipalities, which is only 20% of the market, we believe it's not worth the effort in that sense. And importantly as well is to come back with a 15% decrease in our insurance premiums, which is unheard of right now in the market in our region. We're really excited to be able to bring you a reduction in insurance premiums. As far as the work that we get from our broker, administration is extremely happy with the work that our broker is providing for the small fee that we do pay on that, and we certainly don't recommend getting quotes from other brokers at this time. If there are other insurance companies that are telling Councillor Martin that they'd like to bid on our work, if they're not BFL or AON, they don't bid on municipalities. So if you have another insurance company that's telling you they can, I think they're mistaken from what we've been told. So that's why we have concentrated our efforts on getting 2 different quotes. And again, we're happy with the coverage that we have from Marsh, and we're happy with the service provided by our local broker. Thank you.
Councillor Stimson.
Thank you, Mayor Ferguson. We've never thought of going to the other broker and see what they could maybe find, and maybe other companies?
Based on what, sir? Based on what?
Well, I don't know. We got a thing that says we like to stay local. Causeway has a local office here. Do we ever go, like, I keep saying it's our broker, our broker, our broker. Well, I have a broker too for my insurance for my house, but I can always go and change if I want. And I can go and get a quote from him, and I can get a quote from the other ones too. I just going to the same old broker all the time. I guess you get a good deal. You got a good deal here. I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying it would be nice to see 2 brokerages being able to compete to see what they could find. But I don't know. Maybe I don't understand it right or not. But it just seems like we have 2 brokerages and sorry, 2 brokerages, and we don't seem to use the other one.
Yeah. So from an administration standpoint, when you have a broker who's worked with our corporation for close to 30 years, we deal with them very closely on a lot of different matters for, again, very, very small dollars. There's no reason for us to want to switch. There's no, you know what I mean? Like you haven't been able to give me a reason why, other than
I'm just
fair.
saying.
But it's not about being fair. It's about providing a level of service for us. So I don't want to have to, forego 30 years of a relationship where we get very, very good service because you want us to appear fair, and then have to start over with someone who, we don't know what that service is.
Yeah.
We know the service we have right now. So you haven't really been able to give me a reason why.
I understand where you're coming from.
Right?
But
I
I thought we have 2 brokerages. I just wondered if we ever asked the other one just to give us a quote. Find a quote for us.
But again, no one's provided a reason why that would be the best move to make for the corporation.
All right.
And I disagree with that.
That's fine.
I think something that's being lost here in the discussion is a 15% decrease in our insurance. And the times that we're living in with people are very quick to litigate and to sue, and prices are going up with the natural disasters that are happening in the areas. And I think for us to get a 14.9% decrease in insurance is something I would have been, I don't know if I should say this in public, but I would have been very happy if we would have come in with a 0 increase.
Yeah.
I would have been amazed if we come in at a 0 increase. And we're getting a 14.9% savings on our insurance from last year. And I think the work that administration did to get this number is they should be commended for that, because I don't think we see a 14.9% savings on anything these days. So I just want to bring that up. Jason?
To your comment, the reason we received the 14.9% decrease this year was because of our broker. a large part of that was because of the work the broker did on our behalf.
Oh, sorry, Councilor Knowles.
Thank you, Mayor Ferguson. Jason, what are the actual amount of the brokerage fees?
Brokerage fees for this year was $4,000.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, Councilor Martin.
Thank you. Yeah, 14.9% savings. How, how is that even possible?
That's what,
When we all expected it to go up.
that's what happens when you go to market, because there's competition, so you always go down when you, well, I shouldn't say always, but
Well, it went up.
generally go down when you go to market, and next year it'll go up. But historically,
That doesn't make any sense to me. I'm sorry. It was almost 400,000 last year. The year before it was low, so.
but that's what happens when you go to market, because everybody's competing, so they sharpen their pencils as much as they possibly can. But historically, the municipal insurance market has gone crazy over the last few years, and we've been very lucky, like in comparison, because all the treasurers will send their rates, because it's a big cost to the municipality, so it's a big discussion amongst us. And we've been very lucky in comparison to the majority of municipalities.
Any more comments? Hearing none. I have a resolution moved by Councilor Shine, seconded by Councilor Knowles. Resolved that the Council of the Township of Atikokan renew the insurance coverage for 2025 with Westland Insurance Group Limited and pay up to the amount of $340,000, including taxes. And why is that different from what the quote is?
So this happens every year. There's always, there's provincial sales tax on some things and not others. And whenever I get the numbers, it always differs when I actually get the bill. So I always have a little buffer in there because it's never exactly
Okay,
the same.
it's a few $1,000s, like a
Yeah,
couple.
it's usually lower. When the bills come in, it's usually lower than what they've quoted me, but I just
Okay, then you don't have to come back if it is
can get another
another
resolution.
$1,000. Yes, okay,
Yeah.
I understand. Okay, in favor of accepting this quote? Opposed? Carried 4-1.
Should have voted with Councilor Morgan.
It's not recorded. And next on the finance and reserves resolution, and I'll turn that over to Treasurer Colson again.
Okay, so I have my year-end recommendation for reserves. So it's mainly just any money left over or any projects that weren't completed.
Okay, and that's the information we have in front of us?
Yeah, so so the second page of the report is what we currently have in reserves today as a draft, because there's adjustments that need to be made for interest and that sort of thing. So on the final page is what I'm recommending to go into reserves
From this year's budget?
from this year's budget.
And that's the 1,037,000?
No, 678,500.
Okay, I'm sorry, I didn't see the second part.
So I don't know if you want to go through them or if you have any questions about any of them.
Councilor Johnson.
This is, it's not a question per se for finance, and I don't even know if I'm allowed to ask this question, but it says here on that Pine Crescent path, well, you knew it was going to you? That it was weather shut down?
Okay, we're not there yet. That's the next item on the agenda.
Hey.
I should have actually had it reversed, but
Okay, I will.
We'll get to that.
Okay. Okay, yes, and that was my mistake because I was reading the first one. So it's $678,500 from this year's budget will be going into reserves. Is that
Yes.
correct?
Yes.
Councilor Shine?
Thank you, Mayor Ferguson. Brandy, so the 678,000 will go into increase the final reserves that you have on the first page?
Yes.
The amount increased by that amount?
Yes, but it's basically, the majority of it are unfinished projects, so we're gonna put it into reserves today and take it out in January.
Right, once
the
the
next
bills
budget,
start coming
because
in and you
they're-
can start getting back on the projects.
Yeah.
Okay, I just wanted to understand that. Thank you.
Yes, Councilor Stimson.
Brackets, Brandy, I forgot what you said. Is that, we're over budget or we're under budget?
It depends on what report you're looking at, but if you're looking at the next report, then,
No, I was looking at, the Main Street job.
okay, we'll get there. That's the next item on the agenda. We'll get there next, and I'll explain it, because
On your iPad, you're on,
people seem to be confused.
you're on the wrong thing.
Okay.
So I'll just go through these quickly, that what I'm requesting go to reserves are money for the pay equity plan, the fire truck deposit, demolitions, Mackenzie Bridge, the dam, Pioneer Center, transportation, pool building, planning, consultation, economic development, industrial mall, cemetery, sick leave and severance. So this is an odd one because we have two contracts that haven't been renewed, and I budgeted for, with a guesstimate, if they were to be renewed. So I want to put that money into reserves since we've already budgeted for it, because once we do settle the contracts, it could be significant costs. And in addition to that, we generally do an annual adjustment for our sick leave and severance for depending on the employees and that sort of thing. So I just did a guesstimate and did that as well. And sewage pump stations and doctor recruitment.
Any questions for Treasurer Coulson? Do we need a resolution for that? Do you want
Oh, you can do the resolution
to do the
first.
resolution for that one? Okay.
I should have had it backwards, but in the end, it's the same, so.
Okay, is there any questions about those reserves going, that money going in to be transferred to reserves? Okay, seeing none, moved by Councilor Knowles, seconded by Councilor Shine. Resolved that the following be transferred into reserves. I'm not going to read them over again. And further, be it resolved that any surplus deficit for the library, museum, cemetery, water, or general fund be transferred or dealt with through reserves. In favor? Oh. Nope. In favor? Carried. Don't jinx me anymore. And then we'll go to the next part. Brad.
Did I have it off the whole time? Okay. Okay, so the first column is what we have spent to date as of December 13th. The second column is what we actually budgeted for. The third column is the changes we made to the budget. So once we realized we didn't have enough money for the culvert and we had to take away from some projects, so that the brackets mean we're taking money away and putting it elsewhere. And then the next column is what we think is outstanding, what the bills we're expecting, because right now, because we'll get bills into March from 2024. So they have to be accounted in 2024, but we don't even necessarily receive them for months. So this is our guesstimate, basically, of what those bills are going to be for those projects, or what they could potentially be. And so then the final column is the variance. So what, with those adjustments, what the overage would be or underage. There's only a few that are a little confusing. So for example, if we apply for a grant before the budget is approved, we will often, and there's a portion that we have to spend towards that grant, we will budget for it, so in anticipation of receiving that grant. If we don't receive that grant, we then can't spend that money because we didn't receive it. So there's a couple of lines in here that look like they're extremely under budget, but they're really not, because we didn't get the revenue associated with those lines, so we can't spend that money. So now I don't know if you want to go line by line or if you want to just throw out questions.
Councillor Knowles.
Thank you, Mayor Ferguson. Brandy, so by this, if we were looking at the variance, would the variance suggest that the budget is overspent by 1.037 million?
No, that would suggest it's underspent, but again, that's not an accurate number because of the associated revenues. Like, so the projects that we budgeted expenses for but can't do them because we're not getting the revenue.
Okay. Thank you.
This also doesn't include holdbacks. So holdbacks for our big projects can be hundreds of thousands of dollars, and those have to be accounted for in this year because the work was done this year, but they aren't expensed until year-end process. And they're not paid until next year. So we have to budget for that money again because we have to pay it, but it's expensed in the year it was done.
Thank you.
Councillor Johnson.
Thank you, Mayor Ferguson. Two questions, if I may. Tyler, it says that there was weather shutdown for the Pine Crescent pathway. The contractor said there was a holdup because there's got to be a gas line change in there. Why wasn't that discovered prior to digging by Crescent?
It was a different arrangement than what we were under the impression from during the planning phase. So basically, we were under the impression it was a small T, essentially, right? Went in all four directions. That was kind of what we had for what we were kind of told and what to expect. Unfortunately, it was basically a 90 where they wrapped it right around our catch basin, and that is exponentially more difficult to support. And Enbridge basically just said, too bad, so sad, we're not doing it this year, type of thing.
So, is the town going to be on hook for that change?
Well, Enbridge and the town have a joint use infrastructure agreement that will come into play for who's in charge of what costs on that.
Okay. And my second question, and I know you're frustrated with it, is the dam up in Lone Pine.
Yep.
Does the MNR not realize the more time they fiddle around with this, that it costs more money?
I don't think they're concerned about the cost of the project to the municipality. Quite clearly, they're not.
And are they working with you on this project, or
They're putting up roadblocks everywhere they can, to be blunt.
And meanwhile, it's getting more expensive for us to get this project completed?
We have already tendered it, so we do have the materials actually on site waiting to go in, so it really just comes into how much longer we have to wait, and then it'll depend on if there's any labor, equipment, additional costs, which we may get lucky and there won't be. I don't usually get that lucky, though.
Thank you for answering those.
Question, follow up on that, Tyler. Is that for permitry we're waiting for the MNRF to allow us to do this work?
Sort of. The MNRF is trying to treat this culvert as a dam, like a legitimate flow control structure. So the problem with that is it turns into annual inspections, emergency planning, you know, to very high levels. It's something that we don't want to entertain, particularly for such a simple structure. So we're trying to, I don't know, show them that it's not a dam because it's not. I don't know, it's tricky.
Thank you. Any more questions for any of the administration?
I go.
Yeah,
I go.
yes, Counselor.
Thank you, Mayor Ferguson. Sorry, I was a little slow on uptake there. This would probably be for, for Tom. Had to look at your name tag. Sorry, buddy. Oh my gosh. Okay. The line on the Charleston down there, Tom, electrical and stall covers. What is the stall? Oh, are those the covers for the electrical or
Yeah.
stall covers? I don't know.
Yeah, we had some concern from the horse campers that when the horses are in the stalls, the outlets are exposed, and they're concerned that the horses might chew on them. So the suggestion was to put plastic covers over it to avoid that. That project didn't happen, so that's why you see that going into.
That was budgeted for $20,000 for plastic covers on the.
No, that was the motocross electrical.
Oh,
So
okay,
we had to
Okay.
spend it, so
gotcha. Thank you.
Anything else from anybody? Okay. Hearing none, do we have a resolution for that? That was all in one? Okay. Okay, and just, I'm gonna do my quarterly comment that when we budget for something and we put our hands up and say we need to do this, and then we allot the money for it, and it doesn't get done, that bothers me. Because other things that could get done are scratched, because these are deemed to be more important, yet we don't do them in a calendar year. So again, just, I like to say that every quarter when we review these projects, that if we feel the need that they need to be done and we budget for them, I would expect that the department head would make this work happen. You know, sometimes there's extenuating circumstances, such as the working with the MNRF, but and for the most part, I see things that could have been done that weren't done. So I'd just like to, moving forward, I think we're getting better slightly, but I would like to see this list a heck of a lot shorter than what it is every year. And that's all I have to say on that. Okay, thanks everyone, and we'll move on to the last bit of business for this year, and that is holiday greetings from Mayor and Council. And I will start to my left with Councilor Knowles. Do you have any holiday greetings?
I will keep it very succinct. Happy holidays, everyone.
Thanks, Councilor. Councilor Stimson.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor Ferguson. I just want to wish everybody a happy, Merry Christmas and a happy holiday season. Just a suggestion, if you can and you know of a neighbor or a friend that's lost somebody just before the season, or is living alone, to maybe go over and check on them and wish them a Merry Christmas. It could mean a big deal to them. I wish each and every one of you, young, old, and everybody in between, a Happy New Year and nothing but the best in 2025. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor. Councilor Sean.
Thank you, Mayor Ferguson. From myself and my family, I wish everyone in the community a happy and safe holiday. I hope our new individuals that we have in our community get to experience what we offer through the holiday season, and hopefully everybody has a safe and happy vacation.
For those that are on vacation, and we wish the people that have to work for our essential services, we wish them happy holidays too. Councillor Martin.
Wish everybody happy holidays and a great 2025. I'm looking forward to working with whoever might be sitting next to me here. And just thanks for all the hard work everybody's done over the past year to have a safe and happy holiday.
Thank you. Councillor Johnson.
On behalf of my wife Lisa and myself, I'd like to wish everybody a Merry Christmas and a joyful Christmas holiday. Please be safe, and looking forward to an exciting year for Atikokan next year. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. And I just, for clarification, I put a lot of work and effort into my holiday greetings for the newspaper, so I'm going to take the easy way out and just read what I gave the progress. So
Really?
As we approach the festive season, I'm filled with joy and gratitude for the privilege of serving as our mayor. It is with great pleasure that I extend warm wishes to every one of you during this magical time of year. The holiday season is a time for reflection, unity, and the celebration of our community. As we gather with family and friends, let us remember the values that bind us together: compassion, kindness, and the spirit of giving. This year has been one of challenges and triumphs, and I am immensely proud of how our community has come together to support one another. From volunteering, helping neighbors in need, or supporting local initiatives, your acts of kindness have truly exemplified the true spirit of the town of Atikokan. As we adorn our homes with festive decorations and share in the joy of giving, let us also take a moment to express gratitude for the blessings that we have and to reach out to those who may be facing challenges. Our community's strength lies in the care and consideration we show for one another. While you continue to cross off the items on your holiday shopping list, please remember to shop locally and support our local businesses. I also encourage you to participate in the various community events and activities planned for the holiday season and in the new year. In the coming year, my commitment as your mayor is to continue working tirelessly to enhance the quality of life in Atikokan. Together, we can build a future that reflects the values and aspirations of our community. May this holiday season bring you joy, peace, and a renewed sense of hope. Whether you celebrate Christmas or any other festive tradition, may the spirit of the season fill your hearts with warmth and happiness. And on behalf of the entire council, I wish you and your loved ones a Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and a prosperous New Year. And with that being said, I would like to move by Councillor Shine, seconded by Councillor Knowles. I'd like to resolve that this meeting do now adjourn. In favor? Carried.